And engagement is essentially interacting with other people or taking part in some sort of activity. And I don't mean activity with a capital A, in other words, something that's been specially put on, might perhaps be therapeutic in design. I just mean doing anything. That leads to a question very often. I end up in conversations with particularly members of staff who say, well, the person that I support is engaged a lot of the time. And when I ask what they're doing, they might say, well, he spends a lot of his time flicking a piece of plastic in front of his eyes. So he's engaged almost constantly. I might then say, well, that doesn't seem particularly meaningful or purposeful. And they will say, well, it's meaningful to him, which is a fair point. But similarly, we might have a conversation around challenging behaviour, and somebody might say, well, this person is engaged in challenging behaviour. They're banging their fist on the table because they want their breakfast. That's communication, so surely that must be engagement. The definition of engagement precludes both self-stimulatory behaviour and challenging behaviour, not because they're not valid, but because they don't really help in terms of somebody acquiring a more fulfilling and rich life. So that after many years of having often fruitless arguments of this sort of nature, we've decided that our definition of engagement really is things and anything really that opens up more possibilities for other purposeful activity and engagement and other interaction. And that seems to us to be the simplest thing. If it opens things up, creates more opportunities, then that's engagement. If it closes things down for the person, makes other opportunities less likely to happen, closes the world that the person has access to and can interact with, then that's disengagement. The experience of all human beings, and you've been doing this today, is that in any situation there are actually many opportunities. Classically, institutional settings and indeed small group home community facilities are actually chock full of opportunities to be engaged. But generally they're viewed by staff as being something that needs to be done, that we need to get out of the way, that needs to be completed before we can actually do anything with the people that we're supporting. And in their own lives, that's exactly how things work. So I've got to do the hoovering before I can go out for that meal I'm going with my friend, or I need to do the washing up before I can sit down and watch EastEnders. For staff in supported situations, active support requires them to think beyond the way they think about those things in their own home and view them in this setting as opportunities. So the things that they would see as drudgery become explosions of possibility. And they need to view that differently to how they would view those things in their own lives. Disengagement arises because of a combination of people's lack of skills due to their disability and the expectation of others. Those two things collide to create an ongoing and self-perpetuating experience of failure.